Hi and welcome back to Live Volume 2.0. I'm your host Sam, and today we're going to speak about personal finance. And I'm doing this video because after being long enough watching YouTube videos, I realized that most of the financial advices which are out there are not making any sense for most of people which are starting their journey to financial independence. After 17 years, which I spent in multinational companies, I came to realize that one of the foundations for a healthy brand is a good financial management. So let's get it started. You're just fresh out of university. You just started your first job and you have to start to understand how to jiggle around your rent, your bills, the money that you want to save, the things that you want to do like holidays, gigs, and so on and so on. I understand it can be overwhelming, but I'm here to have you back. So as the topic might seem boring, I promise that I will keep it simple and I will try to add a little bit of fun so we can follow me along this journey. Because I really want you at the end of this video to understand this super simple concept which can propel your life to financial independence. I will use two superheroes to introduce you to these two concepts. Our superheroes are the P&L and the balance sheet. Just imagine them like Batman and Robin, or Iron Man and Captain America. They always go on these financial adventures together and they have their back. Think of the P&L like your accounting hero. He keeps track of every financial battle and is able to tell you in every single period that you're looking at, weekly, monthly, yearly, of how much income you had and how many expenses you had. And now let's meet the trustworthy sidekick of the P&L, the balance sheet. He keeps track of your assets, so what you own, and your liabilities, so what you owe to someone else. And this basically gives the financial blueprint of your Batcave. And now we have chapter 2. Let's see these superheroes in action. So the P&L. Let's assume that you just opened your lemonade stand. And the P&L is gonna tell you how much money you're making, your revenues, how much are your costs. So for example, the cost of glasses, of lemon. Simply, your P&L statement is telling if you're making more money than what you spend. And if you are in green, so meaning that you are earning more than what you spend, then fantastic, you can go out for a superhero party. But if you're in red, so your costs are higher than the money that you're making, then you should reconsider your superhero lemonade stand strategy. Chapter 3. Now we are gonna talk of the trustworthy sidekick, the balance sheet. And pay attention because this is a little bit more tricky to understand. At this point, after the P&L tracks how much you earn and which are the costs, then we need to call in the balance sheet because it's going to tell you the health of your finances. Now let's imagine that you have a nice belt, and inside this belt you keep all the things that you needed to open your lemonade stand. You have the bike, you have the stand, but you also have, for example, the money that you borrowed from your parents to open the stand. And in this case, the balance sheet will list under the column asset, for example, your bike, your stand, while he will put into the liabilities part the money that you borrowed from your parents. And if your assets are greater than your liabilities, you can imagine that you are in a good place. But if it is the other way around, I think it's time to cut back on some superhero gadgets. And here we are at chapter 4. Let's see these two superheroes in action together. So the P&L is telling you how well your business, your lemonade stand is doing, while the balance sheet is telling you if your financial life is on track. So we are very close to the end of the superhero story. Let's see in some real life examples how these two concepts can help you kickstart your financial independence journey. And I will take me as an example. I am Sam, your superhero, and I just found my first job as a assistant brand manager. My monthly salary is $1,500. So those are my revenues. And to these revenues, I need to subtract my cost, which are, let's say, 800 euros for the rent, a couple of €100 for my bills, and after I pay this, I am left with $500. And the $500 in a P&L statement would be considered a profit. My balance sheet at the moment would say that I have 500 euros in assets, which are the money, the profit that I made from the P&L, and at the moment, luckily, I have zero liabilities. What is interesting is you see how P&L and balance sheet work together, and how some items of the P&L can be moved to the balance sheet. So the reason why I told you this story is because there is no reasons why you should not use the same financial techniques that company use to manage your finances. Because out there you see many YouTubers telling you invest in this, invest in that, how to get rich in 3 months, how to make €1,000,000 in 2 days. I'm not saying that those things are not true. What I'm just saying is that over the years I learned that if your basics financials are not in place, there is no point to start investing whatsoever. So are you saying that until we don't have our financial in check, we cannot start investing and getting rich? Absolutely. This is exactly what I'm saying. And how would you be able to even understand on whether to invest $100, $200, $1,000 on one specific stock, ETF, mutual fund, if you don't know how much you can afford? Unfortunately, when I was younger, I didn't have the luck of having anybody explaining me these concepts in a way that could have been useful on my day-to-day life. Many young professionals I talk to, they only keep track of the revenue streams, which is basically how much money they earn every month. But they have very little understanding of what are their costs, what are their assets. And until you don't have a 360 vision of your finances, you will not be able to become financially independent. And I have a couple of tips. The first one is to keep track of what you earn and what you spend, a sort of P&L. So every month you have one line which is telling how much you've been earning, and then you will go and list what are your expenses, monthly expenses, to understand at the end of the month if you can save some money, if you want to spend the leftovers in trips, travels, gigs, parties, dinners, whatever. But this is the basics of your financial management. And then spend less than you earn. That is the foundation. If you're gonna spend more, then you're gonna be in troubles. Try to minimize the use of credit cards. I know it's a controversial topic, meaning that credit cards come with some benefits, but my suggestion would be, if you're young and you don't have a high salary, please limit the use of credit card and pay in full what you owe to the bank. Every month, no excuses. Until you don't do that, you are not allowed to spend any other money. And my other recommendation is keeping it simple, to keep track of some sort of balance sheet. So the things that you own, which are your assets, and eventually the money that you owe to other people. I would also advise you to add to these good principles at least a 3 to 6 months emergency fund that would basically enables you to leave in case you lose your job, you have an unexpected expense that is coming up. Because if you don't have this emergency fund, then you would be forced to recur to credit, and these will impact your liabilities. If you are in your 30s, you have a good job, but you are not having your finance in check, these can help you as well. I would really recommend you to start adopting these principles to ensure financial freedom in the future. And as usual, I have a couple of books to recommend you. The first one is Know Yourself, Know Your Money from Rachel Cruz, and the other one is Clever Girl Finance by Bola Sukumbi. I will link down in the description. I really hope that you liked today's video, so please like, subscribe, and see you the next time. Ciao guys!